He's also enigmatic because pretty much every other established streamer in the entire alliance, particularly the shot callers, are obnoxious, entitled, egotistical, and deceptive brats.
Shit.
Please be talking about me.
Oh boy, here it goes. We went over the full review of Throne and Liberty, and now Mr. Echelon is gonna talk about his full experience in the.
Oh god, fake. Fake, I don't want to farm you. Entitled streamers are killing Throne and Liberty. Dead game. Oh boy, here we go, guys.
Oh boy, I was in the alliance with him, so this is gonna be a hot take.
Guys, this isn't even the last drama video. We have more. Also, guys, I'm giving you time to get your VODs in. If you have VODs, put them in my VOD submission channel in my Discord. We're gonna be going through VOD reviews after this.
One thing to make note of before I tell the story of my time in this game, and that is I deliberately chose not to play this game as a content creator because I wanted to experience this game in a much more typical fashion. Early access came, I logged in, and I chose a server called Chernobog, which tragically...
Oh no, he went through the whole experience.
Wait, I know this guy. Wait.
Surprisingly well with large scale...
Yeah, I've seen this video. Yeah, I've seen this video. Oh no, I haven't seen the whole video. I watched about half of it. It's a good video.
Oh boy.
One thing to make note of before I tell the story of my time in this game, and that is I deliberately chose not to play...
Okay. Do I need to watch Fake's video or do I need to watch the original video? I thought the original... I've seen half the original video. He does say some tea in it. There is some tea in it. For sure. Fake's gonna have a few billion cuts and stops. Yeah, but I mean... Alright, let's just hear Fake's take. I'd like to hear Fake's take.
This game as a content creator because I wanted to experience this game in a much more typical fashion. Early access came, I logged in, and I chose a server called Chernobog, which tragically...
Oh no, he went through the whole experience. Dude, I went to Cherno. I have the exact same freaking experience as this guy.
No, you don't. You're a streamer. This is different for us.
To Cherno, and then I went to Zeroth after.
And you were in my alliance, which means that you were in like the second strongest alliance on the server. This guy very likely was not.
Oh my.
Maybe he was though.
God, say it.
Was the streamer server where all the dipshit content creators had gone. I didn't know this at the time, and I would have very deliberately chosen a different server had I known. But I started, I sank in time, and eventually I joined a guild called Special. Joining this guild was a very deliberate thing.
I want to be clear that swapping servers at this point is zero Lucent. Okay, he chose that. He's like, oh, I would have swapped had I known. No, that's not true, and that's deliberately misleading. I like the guy's video, but like also that's deliberately because it was zero Lucent to swap servers. If you really cared that much about not being on the content creator server, then you would have swapped immediately. That being said, you knew you were on the content creator server. You wanted to be on the content creator server, and that's why you stayed on the content creator server.
This was a guild
he was in Special. Interesting. Special is going to be allianced up with us as well.
Clearly had active players. It was a guild that seemed to have good organization, but it also seemed to be a lot more relaxed than some of the other guilds on that server. Turns out it certainly was. I was correct. And thus began the good old days of my time in Throne and Liberty, which you never quite appreciate enough when they happen because you don't actually realize in the moment just how good you really have it. Special was fantastic. I met really cool people. We were entitled to keep the loot that dropped for us from world bosses, and we even took an objective here and there for ourselves, like a boonstone, which we defended multiple times.
Wow, the guild just let you have the loot that dropped? Nah.
Yeah, they had a garbage boonstone nobody cared about, so we just let them out.
My house, brother. Not my house.
Also true. I was just about to say that. Like, bro, you're lucky. If you get to keep all the loot that you get from a boss, lucky.
We roll for it, but the people who were the best in slot for those items would have the chance to roll for it. So we distribute the gear to everyone who needs it.
If I could go back in time, I would have appreciated what it was so much more than I did back then, because everything changed once we formed an alliance.
I think you should do that for Arc Boss weapons.
The streamer guild called Tanks and Liberty. I know what people are going to say.
No.
You did this to
oh no.
Man, Cannon's catching strays, bro.
No.
And I want to be clear that Fake is in tanks in Liberty now.
To say nice
Or he's in the
things. To
Alliance.
say nice. I didn't manage. Hey, I didn't manage tanks in Liberty. Okay, we're on Chernobog right now. Chernobog, I'm a player. I was a player on Chernobog at this time. Okay, and I'll talk about.
There's a ton of hardcore guilds that do that. It's like a surprising amount. Well, I think that giving away like normal purples at this point, totally fine. Somebody gets like an Excawan or anything like that, or like I don't know, any sort of weapon, Morokai, you know, whatever. Literally any sort of weapon that is not Arc Boss. Sure, you can let him have it, whatever.
More about my experience as we go through this.
To yourself, and yes, I did. I could have left at any time, but
Yep.
I sort of got swept up in things because I genuinely made some friends, and this is where the group was headed.
Yep.
Well, after we formed that alliance with the streamers and a bunch of their fanboys, sadly, the alliance decided
So yeah, not only are you on the streamer server, you acknowledged to staying on it, okay, and then you allied with them. What are we talking about?
to transfer off the server. Now,
That is so true. The fanboys absolutely jumped on the train.
the kicker is, they did this because they wanted to get away from their own community, and they made up some stupid excuse about how the game is too laggy because of how popular we are, so this was their cover to sneak away from their own fans, right?
No, that is no.
I'll share the real reason. Because I know the real reason. But what's Fake gonna say first?
Not the case. No, that is not the case of trying to run away from the fan base. From my understanding too, a lot of guilds started rolling over because we were also having good fights. And then a lot of people came here because a lot of people were here, so the activity was high. The reason why everyone left was Ethereum. And because of all the memes that showed up, Ethereum showed up and the purge had begun. People were losing left, right, and center. The one 4-man alliance guild came and steamrolled literally everybody. Nobody could even go to a world boss anymore because all of us were new, didn't know what we were doing. But Ethereum rolled up with all of their back-end Korean players who played since the Korean days, and they.
Okay, we're gonna act like Canon didn't play since the Korean days. Give me a break. A, B. Let's just be honest here. The guilds left, so everybody came to Cherno, guys. At the start, everybody was on Cherno. All the fighting was on Cherno. And what Ethereum did is they went server to server with their 4 guilds and proved that they were the strongest alliance on every server. Just bam, wiped it out. Bam, wiped it out. Bam, wiped it out. And then they asked Canon, and they said, Canon. They also came to me too. They said, "Yo, are you guys ready? Because there's no one left to fight. We've killed everybody else." And Ken and I both said the same thing. Send it. So they rolled here. And I'll be honest with you, the first time they rolled onto Cherno, it was a steamroll. It wasn't even close. It was just an ass blasting, dude. It was like Scoutmaster Kevin showing up at summer camp, if you catch my drift. It was bad. So like they left. Okay, they left, and then like really quick. It was like they were here for like 3 days, 4 days, and then they left right away. Well, anyway, then they came back a second time when a bunch of guilds that were running from Ethereum came to Cherno because they realized that the streamers could tell Ethereum not to come here. Well, then Canon told them to come here again for the most part. Well, he didn't necessarily tell them to come here, but like he didn't exactly tell them not to. There's a lot of politics that go into the back end. Either way, Alec decided we're going back to Cherno because that's where all the guilds were. And I'll say that the second time Ethereum came back, we started working together. At the time, it was the FTP alliance. It was Invuln's alliance versus my alliance versus Canon's alliance. Okay. And Canon was winning, but not by much. It was our alliance second, and then FTP was third, but not by much. So like again, the gap was like really small. Like any of us could have taken it at any point. And there were times when Invuln's alliance would take bosses, our alliance would get bosses, and then Canon's alliance would get bosses. But I'd say Canon's alliance overall was the strongest because they had way more gear and knowledge than us. Infused, thanks for the brand new T1 sub, man. Cheeky saw with the prime sub. Guys, welcome in. Welcome in. Nothing makes me wetter than new subscribers. Safety first. Now, Ethereum rolls in, and I'll be honest with you, my alliance started working with Canon's alliance. And just at World Bosses, and that's what Ethereum kind of wanted us to do. To be clear, they deliberately asked me. The Ethereum Alliance knew that I was kind of a wizard at getting people to work together. I'm very good at like the politics of everything. And like in the T1 scene in BDO, I'm the only person that successfully coordinated 17 tier 1 guilds to beat the top 3 siege guilds on the server. So it was the T1 scene essentially against the best players that have ever played the game ever. And we beat them in siege because of me. But like normally the T1 scene never worked together. So Ethereum came to me and they said, hey, can you just like ally everyone against us? Because it would be better if you zerged us. And like, you can't fight us individually. And I was like, no, because then you'll stay. Was my exact words. No, because you will stay if I do that. And they were like, please. Well, Cannon and us worked together on a few world bosses, and it was actually a lot of fun. Cannon was not having fun, though, because they're not getting any loot anymore, for the most part. So Cannon decided to leave because he said the server was too laggy. Fake's right. Ethereum was like, anyone that stayed was not going to live through Ethereum's onslaught. But Cannon leaving meant that, and FTP Alliance also left. So it was just my alliance left on the server, and I negotiated with Ethereum to split their guilds 2 and 2. So they sent 2 guilds to Amos, they left 2 on Cherno, and we had some great fights against Bricked. And again, that was political wizardry. Okay, no guild, as far as I'm aware, has successfully worked with Ethereum in almost any MMO that I'm aware of, and we made it happen, and it was pretty fun. Because, like, the Bricked Alliance had Hellowing, which was, I think, the strongest of the 8 guilds. If you compare our alliance versus their alliance, I think Hellowing was actually the strongest. And then it was like, so they had number 1, we had like 2, 3, and then they had like 4, and then we had 5, and then they had 6, and then we had 7, 8, right? So, like, I don't know. Like, I think that they were close fights, but we were winning because we had more people at the bosses. But, like, eventually they left, blah, blah, blah. Regardless, Fake is pretty much right. He wasn't completely involved in the politics of the whole thing, but he's absolutely correct about this. The Cannon left mainly because of Ethereum, and he intentionally rolled to Zeroth because the server was dead and he could get siege. He could win siege on that server. And like, I don't blame him, because he knew that if he goes there, other guilds are going to go there too, and like, it's not going to be as dead as it looks. So like, and he ended up winning siege. It worked, but it was a close fight. Smart Cannon.
He knew all of what to do.
And E-Girl killed Vertex too. Yeah, E-Girls kill everything. Like, women with penises literally ruin everything.
They showed up and they dunked on everybody. Literally dunked. So what happens? People wanted to leave because they wanted a chance at winning siege. And I think Tanks and Liberty left because, one, the server actually became unplayable.
No, it didn't.
Straight up, actually became unplayable. It was so bad.
It was laggy,
we were rubber banding everywhere because of the server just couldn't keep up with everything that everyone was doing. And then on top of that, it was 2-packed.
Yeah, Dad Ghost, you're going to catch up faster than ever. The new Tuvala is going to be insane for you.
And the number 1 guild running that server ran it. They ran it, and they ran people out. I was going to stay on the server myself because I was helping Blue with his guild as an officer. And then I started a guild to take some of the overflow, and then I just helped out, and I was going to stay in the alliance. But then I got offered the option to leave or stay, and I chose to stay. And then afterwards, plans had changed, and next thing you know, I'm being told I should go with my friends because they were going to do something else. And I was like, you know what? That actually sounds like what I'd rather do. So we went.
Yeah, so that is almost on the nose what happened. Fake really wanted me to go with Cannon's guilds. I didn't think that going with Cannon's guilds was a good idea. And I was correct about that. I stand by that decision. And then I got Ethereum to split, which meant that we had to split our alliance, which meant that I gave Fake Uni the opportunity to go with Cannon, which is where he wanted to go anyway, because it was better for his streaming career if he was with Cannon and Shroud and all them. And like, for me, it wasn't necessarily what was good for my streaming career. It was about what was good for my homies, because like, when I'm leading a guild, it's homies, man. Those are my people. Like, bro, those people have been with me forever, right? Like, ideally, I would have been shot calling in Cannon's alliance with Shroud and Cannon. I would have gotten way more exposure, right? If it was about me, that's probably what I would have done. But like, bro, the homies, I ain't ever gonna leave them because they didn't leave me, When the going got rough and I got fired, they didn't leave me. They stood by me. I stand by them. That's how it works. So like I was not going to leave the server, and I negotiated on their behalf, and I had Reassembled win their first siege, or the first siege ever. However, Fake's guild, he's not... It's not that he's not as dedicated to his community, but that bond isn't necessary. He wasn't fired from his job and shit. He didn't go through all that shit, right? And he didn't start the guild from scratch on the server. He was like, well, I mean, Blue, it's way better if we go with Canon, because then, you know, you can shotgun Canon's alliance and blah, blah, blah. We need to go with Canon. It's way better for our careers. And I think that people would have more fun. And like, I respect that for sure, because I think that his community probably did have more fun on the other server. So that was good. It ended up working out. And I got him the opportunity to go with Canon. We made it happen at the last second, and everybody was happy. It was like, holy shit, everything fell in a row. It was a huge W.
Went with that, and I went to go follow my buddy Cannon. I went to go follow all my other friends and other content creators I've been friends with for a while, and we rolled over to a different server because Ethereum was running it. The server became unplayable, and yeah, so many people were on the server, but I don't think it was
yeah, that was the easier option. The harder option was trying to play ball with Ethereum.
Because of all the quote-unquote fans. I think that's just was
No,
that was
today?
the
No, today's Throne of Liberty Day.
popular pick. And the thing is all of these Black Desert guilds were there. All of these other different games and competitive guilds were all there. There was so much of the Black Desert community in Chernobog.
Right.
That's why we wanted to be here. Those are my people. Okay? Like,
and find a new server. Right at the end.
It was so cool. The brick that we were fighting, like, do you have any idea? I'm pretty sure Viz probably jacked off every night to beating Cho Nation's guild on repeat at every boss. It was insane. He loved it. He loved it. Cho Nation had been shitting on him in Barcode for like 7 years. They come to Throne and Liberty. They don't have roots. Viz outmaneuvers them into leading one of the Ethereum guilds, and he just shitting all over them. He loved it, bro. And to be clear, all of the BDO community loves shitting on each other because we hate each other, because we're PvPers, okay? In hate, there's a love in there, but it's coated by layers of hate that we just...
Into the transfer window.
So juicy.
As per their plan, everybody pulled the trigger, and the good old
there's a lot of BDO people on Xerox now. That's where I would probably go if I was going to
days
transfer.
were
But
over
I don't know if I want to get involved in a hardcore guild again.
because Special merged with a fanboy community
Liam, thanks for the Prime sub, but I appreciate you. Thank you so much, man.
for a particular streamer, and thus began the bullshit.
I think Special went to Blue Squadron. I think. I don't
No, Special did not merge with us.
quote me on that, but I
No, they did not.
think.
It started with them just
Reassembled was basically entirely just a hodgepodge of people discovering my content, going, hey, I want to be in that guy's guild, and then joining, pretty much. And then it was run by, again, the homies, Fabi, Lucy, Wishing Bell, and then I did like the politics and stuff in the background. But I'll be honest with you, I had some shit go down. I still have some IRL shit going down in real life. And they basically ran the guild while I was basically recruitment and politics. Right, they did the day-to-day, all of the important shit, though.
deciding that we could only bring 30 people, not 40, because whatever reason, and very quickly turned sour as they arbitrarily made rules, kicked out our friends, and overall just treated the group of players that I had come to know and respect like second-class citizens.
Oh, wow.
Now, I've gone back and forth on this for a while because there's some very specific people who I was going to call out by name and frankly ridicule in this video, but instead of doing that, I'd rather do this. There is one, count them, one, literally one single established streamer from that entire alliance.
Who is it? Who is it? Oh, we have the tea. God, dude, this drama is just juicy.
That deserves positive recognition in my view, and his name is Solid FPS.
What?
Oh, he gets the positive recognition. No, we want to see the negative recognition. Solid FPS is a good guy. I like that guy.
Oh, let's go, Solid.
Spoken, incredibly skilled at whatever game he plays, also humble, and I've known him since back in the early days of the division. He's worth following, he's worth emulating, and even choosing to play the game
Wait, I love it. He's worth following. So why aren't you following?
at whatever game he plays, also humble, and I've known him since back in the early days of the division. He's worth following, he's worth emulating, and even choosing to play the game completely free, he is decidedly more skilled than his peers.
And before you say, oh, it's an incognito account, no, it's not. Because he's been subscribed in the past and is not currently subscribed, which means he is logged in on his Twitch account and he has a DM. He is not following the guy that he literally is saying did everything right. Mass notifications up top too. Yeah, this is just his account.
Division. He's worth.
Why aren't you following him?
Following, he's worth emulating, and even choosing to play the game completely free, he is decidedly more skilled than his peers who paid many, many thousands of dollars to get ahead.
That's true. That is quite true. Humble,
Who gives a shit, bro?
though? I don't know. I'm kidding. Solid's great, man.
However, he's also enigmatic because pretty much every other established streamer in the entire alliance, particularly the shot callers, are obnoxious, entitled, egotistical, and deceptive brats.
Shit.
Please be talking about me. Please be talking about me. He's not talking about me. I'm not involved with this guy. We were never involved with special, so he's definitely not talking about me. But oh my god, that's so funny. I know who he's talking about. He has to be talking about Saiga. Right? He's talking about Saiga, and he's talking probably about Fake Uni. Fake Uni was a shot caller too, right?
I was a shot caller at one point.
There it is!
I'm an entitled brat. Well, I wasn't part of tanks.
You know what? I'm a shot caller, and I am entitled. I'm entitled to kick your ass if you do something wrong during Siege. Don't like it? Go to somebody else's guild. Stop playing like shit. Deal with it.
Though I was in my own guild, and then I was getting my alliance together, but I wouldn't call myself a shot caller in tanks.
A great example would be how the Streamer Alliance spent hours complaining about how their enemies were creating a giant mega alliance and it was so unfair.
He's definitely not talking about me. This is not conversations we ever had in my guild anyways.
They allegedly wanted us to have their fair and even battles, but the very first chance they get, they created their own mega alliance, justifying it with hyperbolic exaggerations about how they'd rather die than let the enemy have the castle, because those enemies never said GG to them after losing.
Oh yeah, that was that guild meeting that we watched. Do you guys remember that guild meeting? That was crazy. Like, I kind of exposed the whole thing. I was like, guys, none of this has anything to do with them not saying GG or shit talking. No, they want to win Siege. And I just want to be clear, the other team would have done it too. So they made a mega alliance to help them defend the castle because they wanted to win. That's just how it was. Okay. And a lot of other servers did it too. We're going to see it tonight in our VOD reviews.
That's not true either. I don't think he paid attention to world chat and stuff like that.
World chat was really not that bad. There were a couple things like Sony got targeted down that shouldn't have happened. Those people should just be banned. But like aside from that, like they're calling you bad players. Like deal with it.
Or should you ever? But some no shit.
Talking about Soviet. He is talking about Soviet. He's talking about Saiga. He's talking about a few of the other.
It got said, man. Some things got done and said. It got down to the point of people getting like mass reported for whatever reason.
You're a bad player too? Of course I am. We're all bad players. I'm horrible.
And people were getting bopped left, right, and center too. So like,
I'm not a shot caller because I'm a good player. You don't make good players shot callers. Yeah, you make good leaders shot callers. It's not my job to be a top fragger. It's not my job to be good. Just like in BDO, people used to make fun of me for being bad. Yeah, that's bad. Not good. But that wasn't my job. My job was to make us win. And I did.
the political shit got really hectic between both sides.
And there was too much trash talking in world chat on a PvP game.
Oh yeah.
It's pathetic how this group conducted themselves after preaching about community and the health of the game because they just want to make good content so the game gets more popular. They would go and use like special powers to make peaceful bosses on the server inaccessible for everyone else.
Whoa, bro,
that's an unfair statement.
Part of that alliance. What do you mean?
No, it's an unfair statement. He's talking about Eclipse, right? Nobody cares. Okay, get over it. Wow, cry. Yeah, okay. Like, if you want to get pissed at somebody for that, get pissed at the developers. They're using the function for what it's supposed to be used for.
Mean. It was just Tanks and Liberty are the ones who had the Eclipse at the time. There was only one
They did it to us too. Did you see me complaining?
boss that you could eclipse and then the doors would close and no one could get to go do the boss. That's a legit game mechanic, dude.
Yeah.
But then the devs didn't like that, so they came out with an update saying
Yeah,
that if
and
this
the devs,
happens,
like,
we're gonna
fixed
put a
it, too.
portal outside, so if the boss is peaceful, then people can go and do the peaceful boss. That's a game mechanic.
Where it's part of the game, you have the power, you want to be in control, fine.
Yeah.
The double speak snake
Tuesday, you're just gonna melt him for the cares out stuff.
like behavior of the streamers
Just make sure that you can make the Karazad better than your Crescent.
Especially being in such close proximity to it wasn't just uncomfortable, it was downright sad. I went from having an awesome, free-flowing, and enjoyable experience to witnessing friends of mine.
It's competitive though. You're shooting to be in a guild that wanted to be #1. Like,
Yes.
don't get me wrong. I don't agree with all the tactics used, but I also see the point of using every tactic available when the enemy is also doing
Correct.
that, because
Correct.
people just want to win. And when you're in a
Based take from Fake there. Based take from Fake. Like, trying to say, oh, these people are cringe for creating a defensive mega alliance to defend the castle. It sounds like you're a loser. That's what that sounds like. Okay? Because, like, that's just how it is. All right? In war, there are going to be tiers. All right? There's going to be winners. There's going to be losers. All right? Winners win. It is what it is. Like, that's just how it was. Now, like, the majority of servers was not 4 guilds against the rest of the server. The only servers that allowed the defending alliance, just 4 guilds to defend the castle, were alliances that so heavily dominated their server that they knew they could win without taking more people in their alliance. Okay. Everyone else, where the fight was even remotely close, allied people to help them defend the castle so that they would guarantee win siege. That's the truth. That's just the brutal truth. Okay. And like, these are, again, like Fake just said, these are the most hardcore people on the server. If you want a fun, free-flowing, casual environment where you get your gear from every boss, and if the arc boss weapon drops for you, you get that weapon, and like everything is hunky-dory, then you have to go to a casual guild. But if you're going to be in a top-end PvP guild, this is the way. Like, these people are going to sweat, and you like it. You like it when they sweat.
the #1 position where you can use politics in any type of ways to achieve that win, like, people do that. And if your enemy does that, you're almost dumb for not doing that in that sort of sense. Now, I'm not saying go out and mass support.
What are you supposed to do? Just roll over and lose? Like, no. What do you expect them to do? Of course they're going to ally people.
That's just stupid. Don't do that. I
That's
see
what
where
I
he's
would
coming
do.
from, though, because things did get immature and things did get frantic and things did get all over the place. Like, you could literally just throw shit up in the fan and it went everywhere.
And just arbitrarily screwed out of the drops that they deserved and won, by the way, with their dice rolls. As the leadership decided, nah, I'm going to give this valuable item to my friend because I just am. He's sad and he wants it, so he gets it. Deal with it.
I thought Tanks was only Lucent bidding. So, oh shoot. So he didn't like the loot council either. People won rolls and he didn't like that the things got loot counseled either. I mean, that's
Yeah, it's not that they're giving it to their friends. They're giving it to the best players in most cases.
Oh geez.
Another girl got cheated out of items that she deserved not once, but twice. Nicest girl you can imagine, honestly. Constantly keeping the atmosphere positive and doing things for
Well, she's a girl, so.
other people just because it's helpful to them. But instead of treating her fairly under their own written rules, they deprioritized her and literally found ways to manipulate those rules and change things so that their little clique, I guess I'll call it, of streamer fanboys can get everything that they want. To be clear,
Wow. He's talking about, you think he's talking about Dream or Winter? So we've heard about Tanks, Dream, Winter, and my guild that I ran was Nimbus. I haven't heard anything yet. So I'm just waiting to hit play, and then he's about to go, don't get me started on Nimbus. Oh boy.
I went from having motivation to log in and grind out rewards to being required to log in 5 hours per night, often just to
Yeah, dude, that's how hardcore players work. Okay? If you don't like it, you go casual, like I did. Okay? Like, if you can't handle being logged in for 5 to 6 hours a day, you just have to go do something else. That's part of being in a hardcore TNL guild. That's why I like doing these VOD reviews, because you get to see the hard work of these guilds, the hard work of these players pay off, you know, like that siege is where the metal meets the road and you get to see what these guilds have been grinding for, you know, like all of the work that kind of culminated to this moment for them.
sit somewhere and do nothing, literally nothing, so that this group
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, man. 7 days a week, 5 hours on for prime time is insanely unrealistic. I'm not even gonna lie, man. Like, people have lives, people have schedules and
They
things
do.
like that, and even whether you have kids or don't have kids
That's why I had to step away.
and stuff like that, like, people deserve to live a life. So I'm not gonna lie, like, I definitely think that the hardcore requirements are easily pushing burnout for players. That's what
100%. That is a huge problem with Throne and Liberty. I think that it pushes burnout way too hard on people. Like you're just like people are motivated to be online all the time.
I think, but that's just my hot take. Like, I just think that having that expectation on people, unless they're really, really willing to give into that stuff, I think you're just going to start generating burnout.
Group could just cheese the activity system, funneling the time of like 140 people per night at least into one person getting ahead so that they could have a tiny little advantage in the final siege, which was greatly over-exaggerated in terms of importance, considering how certain respawn invulnerability mechanics played out. Every time something...
I'd have to agree with that. I really do think the wind, I think it was the wind that activity gives you. Oh, no, it's rain. Is rain. I don't know though, but I definitely think that the activity push for rain was a pretty big over-exaggeration.
Combine that with some of the worst strategy and shot calling I've ever seen, and it wasn't just a job, it was the type of job that you don't even want to show up for. And just in case anyone doesn't believe me when I say that the shot calling was bad, here's an example. When fighting for a boonstone, which as we talked about earlier is a point...
Oh no. Oh no, he's gonna give an example.
Oh god.
And he's talking about boonstone. So the shot callers he's specifically calling out right now are in tanks. He's specifically, I think I know specifically
It's Saiga.
who he's calling out right now.
Point defense battle between two guilds. We spent about 11 straight minutes defending the point, but we didn't have the point. This was a war channel on Discord for communication where only like 6 people were allowed to talk, and not a single one
Oh yeah, the rune grind is crazy, 8 to 10 hours. That's why I haven't wanted to start it. It's because I know it's gonna kill me.
of those 6 people noticed that we didn't actually have the objective. They didn't notice that it said plain as day on the side of the screen, you don't have this. The symbol on the...
Oh my god, did that actually happen to you guys? Did you guys actually stand on a node, defend it, and didn't take it? No
Oh no, they're... Oh no. That's tragic, dude.
No shot. Now listen, him complaining about the fact that there's 6 people in there that are only allowed to talk and everyone else isn't allowed to talk, that's normal. Because what happens is people are going to say everything and then the entire Discord chat gets out of control because everyone's talking and it just becomes an absolute...
I'll be honest with you, as someone that's done shot calling for a long time, I have open comms. Everyone's allowed to talk. Do you know why? Because everyone has the potential to give you the game-saving information that you need. Everyone is a potential scout. Everyone could have something to add. Now, if somebody has a bad microphone, you server mute them. You server mute them. If somebody says some shit or just won't shut the fuck up, you server mute them. Done. Okay? But like, I'll be honest with you, if you're a good shot caller, everyone's going to shut the fuck up anyway. Because everyone trusts exactly what you say. And that's just the way that it goes. Okay? I don't have problems with people cluttering comms too much. And if I do, I mute them.
Of conversation. So you
like you're physically handicapping yourself if you only let the leaders talk.
Have to mute everyone. However, if you guys are taking over the node and you guys all know that the node isn't captured and 60 of you are muted, able to say something. My question is, did you not say it in general chat? Did you not say it in guild chat? Did you not spam it saying everyone say we haven't caught? Like at that point, I'd be
no. It's because everyone is eating crayons. You know,
spamming it.
It's true.
Hey, we don't have this. We don't have this. We don't have this. We don't have this. So you do have another line of communication.
Listening to these people whine and complain about how Amazon Game Studios doesn't have good enough outreach and support for the streamers because their egos are too fragile to endure losing something that they desperately feel entitled to.
Who said that Amazon doesn't have enough support and outreach for their streamers? What the I'm gonna be honest. Why is it the company's job to make you a successful streamer? It's not. Newsflash. Okay? If you're gonna be a successful streamer, you have to make content that is worth watching. And Amazon can't make you do that. Okay? It shouldn't be the company's job to hand away their profits to make you successful. Once you are successful, they can support you being more successful. But like, it's not necessarily their job to make you successful streamers. And I'll be honest with you, they've had drop campaigns running in the category. They should have them running 24/7, if it was, in my opinion. I do think that drops should be running in the category all the time. Because Amazon publishes the game anyway. They own Twitch. What are we talking about? It's free for them.
Was Tanks really like this, man? We never talked about any of this shit in Nimbus, and and
I will also say, for what it's worth, AGS is offering to support my tournament this coming, or like early in January. And Perlibus hasn't supported one of my tournaments in over 2 years. So Even while when I was their top partner on both platforms, they still were not supporting my events, period. So I think AGS is doing just fine. Also, when I ask a question to the AGS CMGM team, they respond immediately. Like, I'm not joking. I could message Bojo right now, and that would respond within minutes. Like, they're on it. Okay. Now, that's not to say that the Pluribus CMGM team isn't responsive, but they're definitely like, it's tough to beat AGS's CMGM team. They are on the ball with it.
That guild, and I was the only streamer in that guild, in my guild.
You feeling threatened by a smaller alliance of players because you won the siege?
Do you don't think it'll change now for BDO? No, I think it'll get worse. I think that the partner program is headed downhill, and I don't think it's going to get any better.
KR, so you're
mainly because the way that they see it is I just got Jae Kim fired. Like, Jay feeling bad and feeling stressed out is almost a direct result of the Blue Squadron and his community of disheveled shitters. I'm not like guys, like, that's the way that they see it. It's not, but like, that's the way that they're gonna see it. Because like, I've talked to these people before. Who do you think is putting the pressure on them? Right? I know the media that they consume all the time. I know how much it hurts them to be able to sleep at night when the community is hating on them. And I still did this stuff anyway. They know that I know that. Like there's no shot, bro. Like that's the way that they see it. I am the devil.
You're certainly going to win it again. Doesn't mean that Amazon...
And you know what I have to say about that? Good. If Jay lost sleep over my feedback, over the community's feedback that I had on my channel, good. You should lose sleep. You f***ed up our game. It's your job to address our concerns as players, and you did not do that.
Needs to give you special privileges.
You should lose sleep.
One of them types out some toxic
poorly.
stuff in world chat. He circumvents the chat filter to make sure his profanity shows up. Calls people, I don't know, short bus type losers or something like that. And he gets a 24-hour suspension.
That sounds warranted. He was in winter, not tanks. So
Seems
his
reasonable.
experience is about them and then some people from tanks. So he's winter.
Did he actually get fired? It's pretty clear that he's no longer being allowed to speak for the company. They're phasing him out.
Alliance loses their minds about how unfair everything is.
Oh yeah, he is winter because injured's right there. Oh no, was it that bad? Oh no, was winter that bad? Oh no, this whole time I thought he was talking about tanks. Well, the reason why is because he said tanks and liberty. He said tanks and liberty. Oh my God, everyone's gonna think he's talking about tanks.
I'm toxic sometimes, okay? I am. And I say stuff I really shouldn't in the heat of the moment.
Yep.
All right? A lot of people are guilty of that. But if I were to...
Everyone in gaming is guilty of this. Any virtue signaling cucklord that's like, I've never said any bad words or anything bad to anyone over the internet is a lying scumbag. And that's how you know that person has said the N-word probably over 1,000 times to somebody. Like literally.
To circumvent the...
Like, dude, we've all said stupid shit that we regret in gaming. Like, as you grow up, as you get older, like, I'm 32 now. I can count on my hand how many times I've said a gamer word in the last 2 years. Okay. So it obviously, as you mature, it's less and less, you know, as you learn how to deal with it. But when you're younger, even in your 20s, like, holy shit, bro, you get mad. You know what I mean? You go to a dark place in League of Legends. It's the Simba that there's a reason we don't let Simba go there. And that's because the shit that the hyenas are saying in the dark place, not PG friendly. You know what I mean?
Chat filter, say toxic things, and then get a relatively short suspension as a result. Bro, just own your behavior. Don't...
Thank you. Warrant. See, you guys in chat said not warranted, dude. If you're gonna talk stupid and you're gonna play with fire, expect to get burned, you dummy.
Crying relentlessly about how crazy unfair everything is and messaging Amazon staff while trying to order around like 200 people and make sure they don't talk anymore in a video game.
Bro, I'm not even gonna lie, man. This chapter he's talking about, I was in the hospital at this time. So I come back from the hospital after my newborn son is born, and I find out about all these mass bans. So I came back to the game, and everyone's telling me to stay out of chat. I literally came back to the game, and I was just joking about it nonstop. Like, I made jokes.
You should not joke about this. I said this before. You should not joke about mass reporting people as a streamer, and that's what he was saying. Like, He was like, oh, better be careful. We're going to mass report you. Like, no, you don't do that. Like, you don't even joke about that because inevitably some people are going to do that. It's going to be taken way too seriously. It's not a good idea.
It's being like, first, just wanted to say something, it's mass reported. But like, it's so painfully obvious. It was a joke. Painfully obvious it was a joke.
Doesn't matter. It's your responsibility to know.
And then I remember I came back and I said that once. I said, first one to talk, it's mass reported. And it was clear as day a joke. I said it once. And then people went on a rage.
Bro, they made videos about it.
Being like, wow, you're encouraging people to mass report. I can't believe you're saying things like that. Wow, you should know people literally will follow you to the end of the sun. And then they'll do anything that you tell them to do. How could you say something like that?
Okay, so half of what Fake is saying is 100% true, like, and half of what he's saying is a little disingenuous. So, like, okay, right now, if I, for example, told chat to mass report anyone, right, and I was very clearly joking, there are not pretty much any, even in my most diehard supporters are not necessarily going to do that. Those aren't the people you're worried about, though. You're worried about the trolls who are like, he's joking, but I actually think it would be funny to go do that. Those are the people. Because you're joking, they think it would be even funnier to follow through. Does that make sense? Like, that's how it works. And so, like, even when you joke about mass reporting someone, there are people in the audience who are going to find it even funnier to take it one step further than the streamer is kind of implying, right? So, like, again, Fake's been streaming a long time. He should know you wield a certain amount of responsibility not to say stuff like this. Now, he was clearly joking. Like, I reviewed the whole thing. He was definitely joking. And I don't think that anybody got banned as a result of Fake saying or doing these things. But, like, they did probably get reported.
They even came to my stream and they were like, if I see a single mass report attempt from you, we're going to mass SWAT and squat you.
Yeah, so this is crazy, by the way. If I see a single mass report attempt from you, we're going to mass SWAT you. I want to be really clear about this. Guys, somebody mass reporting you in a video game is a shitty thing to do. It's a shitty thing to do, okay? But it is a video game. It's not real. You can just walk away. Oh my God, real life. There's grass outside, Mom. You know, like there's real life. And then there's the video game. Okay? You getting banned in a video game is not the same thing as swatting someone, as literally the FBI or the police coming through your windows because they think you're a terrorist threat and trying to detain you. Okay? These are way different things. This person should be permanently banned. Okay? This person should be permanently banned from the video game because you know this guy says worse things in game chat. There's no way. There's no way. Yeah, people die in SWATs. Yeah, do you know why they die? If I heard someone come through my windows upstairs, do you know what I'm going to do? As an American, I have a shotgun right there. It is just off camera. It can't be on camera, but it is right there. And it's loaded. Because if I hear somebody come through that door, or come through that door, or come through my windows, I'm getting my gun out. And if they see an armed person in the house, I could get shot. Like, swatting is not funny. Okay, it's not funny. It's not funny to joke about. Mass reporting is also not funny to joke about, but they're two way different levels of dumb.
How funny that is. That was within like the first hour of coming back after I've been gone for like 2-3 days. An internet privileged streamer in title terms?
05 just gifted 1 subs.
Damn it, Ace, thanks for the gifted sub and I appreciate you.
Forever.
You're so disconnected from reality.
An armed man in red Crocs? You've never been so scared of my Crocs in your life.
Winning a 2-hour siege in Throne and Liberty your entire personality. Just stop it. I thought I suffered from main character syndrome, but I got nothing on these people.
Oh my God, dude, that's so good. What a roast. Oh, that's fire. Oh, that is fire. I thought I suffered from main character syndrome, but man, you got it all. You got it all on me, man. Woo, I'm gonna steal that.
Imagine this. Imagine putting in 5 hours of required time per day for weeks because a bunch of streamers are insecure and think that forcing more hours and being more controlling is the proper way to build loyalty in a video game.
Yeah.
That's, again, that's a wrong take. A lot of guilds, all of the hardcore guilds, are acquiring massive amounts. They require you to be at Riftstones. They require you to be at Boonstones. They require you to be at typically like at least 2 of the world bosses a day. No question. You need to be doing all your daily stuff every day, progressing your gear. Like it's they without saying it, most hardcore guilds do require about 5 hours of activity a day. That's not a cringe streamer thing to do. That's called a hardcore guild. And it sounds like this guy is just not used to playing in like a hardcore PvP guild. It's just the way that it goes. Like clearly he's never in BDO. It was a similar thing. Like this is how it is. Like if you can't handle it, then you go play in a casual guild and take the game much less seriously. That's just how it goes. Like,
and then when the final event rolls around, let's say, I don't know, you have a family emergency and you can't log in, or for some reason you can't get to your computer. They kicked people.
Yes, correct. If a family emergency happens, we are really sorry about that. We're going to remove you for someone who can be at Siege, and we will get you back in the guild after the siege happens. But because we need to win this siege and there has to be attendance at the siege, we have to remove you for now. It's fair. If you can't show up for the event, they're going to remove you, and then they're going to replace you, and then you can come back when you're done, right? Like when the family emergency is over and stuff, but we have to have the attendance. And to be clear, as a hardcore member of the community, you should be 100% okay with that. If your father or someone is in the hospital and you have to go and they have to replace you, why does it even matter to you? You're with your father in the hospital. It. Okay? That's just how it goes. All right? And you should understand that the community comes first. Not you, not your feelings, not your gear. It's the community. All right? These are your friends. These are the people that you've been working with, and you've all worked really hard for this, and you can't be there, and that's awful. But you know what? They're going to do what they have to do to win, and you should understand that as a player. That's just how it goes. And if you can't grip that, then go play in some loser guild.
Minutes before the siege, because
you want to know what my solution was? Let me show you. I will show you how a real Chad games. Yeah, they were literally.
Yeah, there was a GM. There was literally a GM that shall remain nameless. We reviewed a VOD 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago where they were like, oh, our GM couldn't be at Siege because his mom was in the hospital or he had like a family emergency. And I was like, okay, he should have handed off Guildmaster then. A true GM that is worth following, if they had a family emergency, the first thing they're going to do is are they going to go to their family emergency? Absolutely, they are. They're leaving. But if they were doing what was best for the community, they would set their own ego, their own personal power trip aside. They would hand it to the advisor or someone they could trust, someone who is going to be at the siege, and leave. You hand GM to somebody that's actually going to be there and immediately dart out the door. It takes 2 seconds. Because if you care that much about the community, you care about their success, they can't succeed without the GM there. Okay? You give GM to someone else, and then when you come back and you've handled your shit, they give GM right back to you, and everything's fine. I think the fact that GM did not hand off GM exhibits the fact that he doesn't trust anyone, and it's all about the power. It's all about the manipulation. It's all about being in charge. That's not someone I would want to follow. I'm just going to be honest. I would hand it off in a second.
Really like, hey, you need to show up. You need to be here. It's island time. And I was like, okay, one.
GM in our alliance handed it off for Siege today because he couldn't make it. Based. That's someone worth following.
Second, my wife's only giving birth. Let me just fire up my laptop. I see this.
Okay, so this is crazy. This is insane. Okay, honey, push. No, not you guys. Not you guys. Push. Yes, push like contractions are 3 minutes apart. You. No, not you, honey. You're great. You're doing great. You're doing great. Push, you degenerates. You know, like it's crazy, dude.
That's dedication right there. That's dedication. You see that? That's nighttime
That's
island
insane.
PvP. And you see that? That's my lovely lady back there.
He did that for the content, but that's insane.
About to give birth to my beautiful baby
He
son.
doesn't. He's doing this on a trackpad.
I showed up. I turned up. There is not a single conflict that I missed.
They weren't online for it.
Yeah, it's just island PvP too.
After those people spent weeks of their time listening to orders, logging the hours, and jumping through their pathetic little hoops. We weren't people to these assholes. We were numbers. Numbers that they would pretend had value until their ego-driven hubris ran amok and the insecurity came.
Okay, again, like, this sounds like someone who's really caught up in their feelings, okay? You are a number. Everyone in the guild is a number, including the GM. That's the brutal truth. Okay? Everyone's a number, and they love it. That's the whole point of this, is that it's supposed to feel like a military, or the military, okay? No, you don't have to go to boot camp, but the boot camp is all of the preparation, the hours and hours of prep you do for months to get ready for this moment. Okay? All right? It's obviously not the military, right? But in terms of structure, you have a leader, right? You have the council, you've got like the leadership core, then you have the officers, and then you have the members, the foot soldiers, right? Like it resembles a military structure, and people love that fantasy. That's what you're looking for in large scale PvP. You're looking for the fantasy of being in a big epic battle, and you're a soldier, and you're here to do your duty. Do you know what soldiers are? They're numbers. Okay? That's how it is. All right? Like, if you can't handle it, move on. But at its core, a PvP community does care about each other. Okay? You care about your homies, the people that you spend all of that time with. That's why Saving Ryan's Privates is a great movie. Because you see the bond that those soldiers make with each other, and it's heartbreaking to see them die at the end, especially when there's a pussy standing on the stairs, allowing his friend to die in the next room. Okay? Right? Like, so like, we're in PvP guilds to be numbers, a lot of us. Some of us are in PvP guilds to be leaders. Some of us are there so that we can be, like, so that we can catfish e-boys on the internet, and that's okay too. Right? The analogy isn't perfect, but like, we're all here for the same reason.
Came creeping in, at which point they would
Damn, he's just going in on this. Holy.
start kicking people to the curb because the prospect of losing the siege was just straight
Get
up too
me
much.
fired up. Well, this is exactly why I am really good at shot calling. It's because I'm really good at emulating that experience for people. Right? The experience of having a commander yell at you and you're like in the thick of battle, and it doesn't, your feelings don't matter. When I call you a complete moron loser and I tell E-Girl that she's a stupid bitch, it's nothing personal. I'm just trying to get us to win. We just have to take that hill. Okay? People love that shit. People get in line for that kind of shit. Because those are experiences that you can't get anywhere else on the internet.
Much for their inflated levels of self-importance to handle.
Well, we wanted to win, to be fair. And if I have unreliable members that aren't showing up or aren't doing the thing or play on console, that's why Nimbus removed them. But I can't speak for other guilds, and I absolutely have to agree. I did see some of this culture in it, but I think to their benefit.
I'll be honest with you, y'all are complaining about shit that is pathetic. OnlyFans is way worse than this. You guys have no idea how bad OnlyFans is in World of Warcraft. We have an unban request. Bald pussy thinks a care if you ban me from your crybaby ass streams. All you do is complain and you don't even play the game. Please go ruin your viewer count on TNL and then come crawling back on your bald knees to BDO. Do you not have bald knees? Do you have hair on your knees? They should have banned you too after kicking you out of partnership. He's pissed. All crybabies gone. He said that it's in response when this was yesterday, by the way. This guy literally is in my stream like every day. Like literally every day. He doesn't say very much, but I know he there. I know he there, right? And so like you see 8:20, 10:27, 11:08, 12:11. He's very consistently in my stream all the time. He doesn't say very much, but he's there. He's there. And then yesterday, I was saying, hey, big shout out to all the streamers that kept giving feedback for the community and were branded doomers. But you know what? Our feedback got through. You know, it's like a moment. We were having it for the ball, right? For the Galphion ball. And then he said, all the crybabies gone. And then I pulled him up. Then I pulled him up on the screen and I said, okay. And I said, hey, okay, let's talk about this. Right? And I explained my situation. He didn't respond. He said, can't reply because of ads. And I just said, no problem. I'll fix that problem for you. And then I banned him. And now, you think you care if you ban me? You think you care if you ban me? My guy, you're still watching my stream even though you're banned. You took the time to write this out. Sweetie Pumpkin, I'm just rent free. It's just too easy. Enjoy it. But Buttercup, you're doing a great job of showing us how little you care. I'm farming. I'm farming, and I don't care. I'm farming.
Though, like, they made harsh decisions they didn't want to make because they wanted to win. And like, if you play
just let it happen, guys. He's going to show us how much he doesn't care.
On a professional sports team, for example, obviously this is not a similar comparison, but if you play on a professional sports team, let's do basketball, for example, they track everything. They track how fast you can run up and down the court. They track where you shoot. They track where you miss, where you hit, where you this, that. They track all these little details, right? So if you are making those average stats or whatever, like obviously that's a reason to keep you on the bench or move you into the starting five and things like that, or trade you and replace you. It's the same thing kind of goes with this. There's much more basic metrics, right? But like, are you on the
basketball's not nearly as good of an analogy. People do large scale PvP so they can pretend that they're in large scale medieval battles back in the day, right? That's the reason that we all like large scale PvP. It's true.
kill leaderboard?
The military is a much stronger analogy.
Or are you attending? What hours are you playing the game to make sure your schedule can line up and stuff like that, right? Those are things that Nimbus, my guild, would go off of. We would try to recruit people where the schedule just made the most sense for them and lined up with what we were trying to do. We tried to make sure that people were performing or were on the kill leaderboard or were on the activity leaderboard if they were in a different class, to gauge their metrics of how good they were doing, right? And gauging that type of stuff is totally fair and fine in my perspective. And if you're removing those people because they're not meeting the requirements of those metrics, right, I see that as a fair removal, but I can't speak on the behalf of—
Nah, f that. Stop being a bitch about it. Fake is correct, but I'm much more severe in how I said it. There was one guy, I wish I still had the DMs. I don't even remember his name because quite frankly, he doesn't mean anything to me. But there was one guy that was like, he signed up for Reassembled, and then he wasn't at not one, but 2 Boonstones in a row, and he wasn't at Riftstones either. For a full week, he was not at Rift or Boonstones. Finally, I messaged him on the final one. I was like, dude, where are you? He's like, oh, dude, I'm at work. I can't come. Like, I have work during Rift and Boonstones. And I was like, so let me get this straight. You signed up for a hardcore guild that said you had to be there on Rift and Boonstones, knowing that you work during Rift and Boonstone hours, and then got mad when I asked where the f you are. Okay? Then he came into voice during the Boonstone. And do you know what he said? It was crazy. Again, somebody put it on YouTube. I wish I had the video. I don't have the meme video about it that Halloween made. But like, he literally said, Blue, I have big YouTuber friends. And when they hear about this, oh, I'm going to screenshot all of our DMs. When they hear about this, oh my gosh, then you're going to be finished. The big YouTuber friend had 26 subscribers. Quaking. In my boots, really. Not even joking. Not even joking. Because it came out, and the funny thing is, it came out and it didn't get enough visibility. I watched it for him. To help him. I did. I watched it for him on stream. I'm just helping him out. Just helping a brother out. And I reinforced exactly what I said. I said, it's your fault. I don't give a shit that you're at work. You signed up for a guild where you said you could be at these Rift and Boonstones, then didn't show up for a week, letting everyone else down. You're gone. You're kicked. Get the f out of the guild. You're a complete loser. Nobody wants you here anyway. And then he applied to Ethereum. Do you know what Ethereum said? Okay, like, bro, he's gone. As far as I'm aware, he doesn't play the game at all anymore because he couldn't get into a PvP guild. Cooked. Idiot. By the way, when he did show up, mediocre player.
Of every removal that happened in opposing guilds.
But watching the interpersonal drama play out in real time,
Yeah, he applied to Viz's guild, yeah.
has never been more apparent to me how self-centered and narcissistic these streamers and their active participating communities really are. Amazon doesn't owe us anything, us being content creators. The total
Damn, you.
Yeah, he wasn't a large female, so he had a very low chance of getting in. It's true.
Tell him, bro. Tell him. I'm not gonna lie, man. Some streamers actually really do need a reality check, myself
They do.
included.
in the end, Throne and Liberty
I'll be honest with you, OnlyFans, horrible. Horrible. Literally, the clout chasing and ridiculous shit that goes on in OnlyFans, it discourages me from playing WoW. I wish I had experienced WoW on my own. If I had just done a hardcore run of World of Warcraft just on my own outside of OnlyFans before OnlyFans started, I would have had a much better time. Instead, OnlyFans is like, bro, you ask a question in guild chat and everyone is too busy trying to RP because Tyler once said something in guild chat. Like, and then you ask another question and then Soda says something and they all just answer Soda. OnlyFans is only good for the top like 5 to 10 creators in the guild. Everyone else is getting fisted and no one actually wants to let you into their group. Like, I join a voice call, like say, hey guys, what's up? How you doing? They don't even acknowledge your presence. Ridiculous. Have you done any playing with Sardako? Nope. I've asked 4 times. Ignore it every time. Doesn't matter. Okay. The WoW community only wants to play with the other WoW community members. Okay. It's just, it is what it is. Okay. They want to go, like the people that have done WoW before want to get super sweaty with it and they want to hang out in Discord with each other. And it's an excuse for them to kind of jump together and play their game together. And that's amazing. And then the new players, like, they're kind of just left behind. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. I think the guild is awesome. It makes a lot of amazing content. I think it's a really cool experience. But let's be honest, if you're not a top 10 creator in that guild, you're losing visibility by being in the category. Like, because they ain't helping you, bro. Doesn't matter.
it became my gaming focus for like almost 2 straight months.
And like, that's just how it is. And I realized it and I was like, okay, I'm just going to go back and play Throne and Liberty then. I don't care. Sure.
It offers a social experience with a hefty amount of content.
Yeah, it's too saturated. Yeah. So I'll return to WoW with a hardcore run when it calms down. It'll be fun. I actually am having a lot of fun with WoW. I did not let this soil my experience of the game, and I don't think that it's anyone in OnlyFans' fault. You've just got a bunch of narcissistic people all together in one room that are all trying to basically be the center of attention, and it's just, you know, like, it's just not my thing. I don't want to do it.
And it greatly rewards coordinated builds while sprinkling in just enough supporting systems where it can be played and enjoyed by smaller, more casual groups, for the most part. NetEase, sadly, is famous for their ability to ruin games with pay-to-win garbage, and Throne is teetering on the brink of that to begin with. But right now, I think it is worth checking out, and it could very well become a mainstay title for people who happen to mesh well with the experience it offers.
Wow, you just talked that much shit? I mean, he said a bunch of really, really good stuff in the beginning of the video, though, to be fair. But you get to the very end.
Yeah, so I only watched the first half of this video, and I think he had some great points in the first half. I think that... fake not watching the whole video is a little rough, but...
And then talk about your honest experience?
Why is he bashing NetEase? I don't know. It's NCSoft, so...
Going up the siege, and then you just segue back into recommending the title. That's crazy, dude.
For better or for worse, there's a steady stream of content being released for it. Regular events, new PvP opportunities.
Don't play in OnlyFans? No problem. That's exactly what I did. Right. Just like, all right, I'm just not going to associate with the guild too much anymore then.
Gear and more. So it's a game I'll regularly come back to. But most importantly, it's a game I met some really cool people in. You all know who you are, the OG special crew before we merged up into that god-awful alliance. So I just want to publicly say thank you to everyone from that group for the times we shared.
Yeah, honestly, I made some really, really great friends along the way. And before all the drama had surfaced as well.
Why are we acting like it's over?
I'm very, very grateful for those friendships I made along the way. Because unfortunately, even with our guild too, like, with Nimbus too, we had the merger, and the merger unfortunately got very fumbled, to say the least. And my guild has completely crumbled because of the fumbling of the merger. And now all of my guild mates are in the opposing enemy guild on our server as well. And then I joined tanks, and it just didn't sit with me right. So I left on my first day of being a member because it just felt wrong that I was like one of the only people in the guild amongst like all my other members. And there was a plan for the merger and stuff, but the merger plan just really fumbled, honestly. And I'm not mad at any.
Do not bring that emote back. We're burying that. That meme is going away. Do you understand? That meme will never surface ever again.
Anybody, I don't hold any qualms or I don't hold any grudges on anybody or anything like that, but it's definitely a shame the way that it all finished for sure. So for me, like, I'm probably just gonna swap off Zeroth at this rate. That's likely the plan. I'm thinking probably after a week after the
Welcome back to Chernow.
next siege is done, I'm probably gonna just swap off the server and then just go elsewhere.
Anyone out there on the fence about whether or not to try it, I'd say it's definitely worth a shot, but you got to be open to meeting new people. You have to accept the game for what it is, a sum total of its parts, some of which are far from pretty. And you also need to remember that this is a NetEase game published by Amazon Game Studios.
NCSoft.
Yeah,
Get the fun while you can.
I think
He says this in the comment section. He corrected himself in the comment section.
Yeah,
He's like, I said NetEase for some reason. It's NCSoft. Also, I didn't know why I ended up getting NetEase stuck in my head while scripting instead of NCSoft.
They
Wow,
start
he
with
even
the letter
says
N.
the streamers explicitly lied to their alliance and used them under the pretense of rewards that do not even exist.
Yeah, I don't know if that actually happened.
I don't know about that one. See, Nimbus never got a title. Like, only the main guild got a title. So my guild wasn't promised a title. We weren't promised anything. We were just guaranteed a slot in Siege.
The fact that such things are possible ends up being a mark in the game's favor, if you can believe that. And I'm sure that for every person like me complaining about the idiots in charge of their guild or their alliance or whatever.
Well, that's what creates the tension. You want that. You want that tension between people. You want that friction between people because it creates that competitive rivalry that you want to
Being a mark in the game's favor, if you can believe.
Got a title. So my guild wasn't promised a title. We weren't promised anything. We were just guaranteed a slot in Siege.
Like me complaining about the idiots in charge of their guild or their alliance or whatever.
Well, that's what creates the tension. You want that. You want that tension.
About the idiots in charge. Such things are possible ends up being a mark in the game's favor, if you can believe that. And I'm sure that for every person like me complaining about the idiots in charge of their guild or their alliance or whatever.
Well, that's what creates the tension. You want that. You want that tension.
No, I think that if you're complaining about your leadership core, it's time for a change in leadership core in most cases. But
Post about anything to get an upper.
it's also, you need to understand that leadership cores are always going to make mistakes because they're humans.
And I mean anything, man. Like if they had the access to turn off your water and prevent you from having power in your house, man, people would flip that switch. It gets that intense.
There's two more just like me who are happy to log in and play a few more hours because they enjoy, respect, and admire their own leadership. In a very strange way, my experience being so negative in some aspects simply proves that there's notably high potential for it to be fantastic for other people, and I think that is the real note that I want to end on. That's it. Before I get flamed in the comment section by a bunch of these mindless streamer fans, I don't care. I'm not.
Just because they disagree with you does not make them a mindless streamer fan. That's some crazy.
I don't think he should be flamed, honestly. And I see his point. I see his criticism, to be fair. So I mean, I respect it, but we had a different experience, right? Because again,
I see his point, and I would say that he's just not spent enough time in hardcore PvP guilds to understand what the culture is like. It's like this in every hardcore PvP sweat guild that you will ever be a part of in any MMO. That's just how it is. Okay, they're going to require you to be online for 5 to 8 hours a day. If the big content shows up and you're not there, they're going to replace you. It's the same thing in WoW. If you're not there on raid day, they're just going to replace you. They're not just going to hand you loot for free.
like you have the Alliance. Okay, the Alliance, I'm just gonna put AL, consists of 4 different guilds.
Oh,
right?
drawing.
We had Tanks, we had Dream, we had Winter, we had Nimbus.
Why wouldn't you just put that in the bot? Okay.
And then I was the guild leader of this one, right? We didn't have too much politics with these guys.
Mom, can we have Blue Squadron's drawings? No, we have Blue's drawings at home.
Or these guys. Whenever there was a conflict, we just showed up, did our thing, and we were allowed to run our house, our wheelhouse, with no correction or criticism. So it's interesting to hear this stuff happening within these houses, because I feel very confident in saying this didn't happen in ours. We had definite issues in terms of where we can improve as
Nimbus had their own issues.
New players for sure, such as loot distribution and trying to do things in a better way that favored our players. But we never had like stuff like that. We were harsh on our prunes though. We were very harsh on our prunes, but we pruned people with legitimate purpose and reasoning as well too. So you know what, man, it's too bad to hear that his experience got rubbed so sour at the end, but I definitely
Sounds like he just doesn't belong in a PvP guild.
agree. I think the game is absolutely
Literally
worth
just that
checking
simple.
out because it's free to play. You have nothing to lose in a free to play.
Like you don't get to like these people that are like, oh my god, it's so cringe. These people taking this game so seriously. Yeah, so you're just like a loser and you're losing. Okay, that's how you take it in a PvP guild. If you're in a casual guild or like a PvE guild, or you're just taking the game at your own pace, yeah, you can have that take. Oh, these cringe sweat lords. Oh my god, they're just, oh god, they kicked me from the guild because I was at family emergency, whatever. But if you sign on to be in the sweat hardcore PvP guild, you know what you're signing up for, and you can't call it cringe when they enforce the rules. That's just it. It is what it is. It is what it is. I'll link both videos. Here's the fake video, and then here's the
well with large.
I think that I only watched the first 20 minutes. So to me, I think he does a great review of TNL. The first 20 minutes, very positive. And then he kind of just goes off the deep end. So fake showing the last 20 minutes is like, okay, there's the original video there. And you can see it's got a good like ratio on here. It's got a good like ratio on there. I don't know how he doesn't understand this at 731k subs. Maybe it's just his, is this his first, like, what does he make content for normally? Okay, so this is his first like MMO, it looks like. He doesn't know. Yeah, so he's pretty inexperienced, and that's fine. That's fine. I expect somebody that's new to it to have this kind of a take, and I felt like his video was pretty good. It was interesting to see that though. Interesting to see that.